Stable. Wrestling Podcast's cream of the crop.
Hey guys, welcome back to the stable, coming to you from the compound. As always, I am Jose Mora, and I am joined by the Shy Buffalo. And today we are talking about Survivor Series. And how excited are you?
Oh, I'm pumped. It's in Chicago, baby. It doesn't feel like historically a Big Four event, though. You know what I mean? The build-up for this has kind of been a little short because of Crown Jewel, and we only have 3 matches already booked, with it only being, a week out? So I would say it doesn't feel like a Big Four event.
It does feel a little bit overwhelming right now, but that is overcome by the fact that it's in Chicago. It is right in our backyard, and it just makes it all those so much better.
Start with the top. Gunther versus The Miz. How do you think that
I
one?
hope The Miz gets squashed so bad. Gunther is the perfect heel right now. He can do no wrong. There's too much shenanigans going on in WWE, and Gunther's just like the perfect guy, just like stop it and smash it.
So what are they going to do with him, though? I mean, right now he's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion.
Yep.
Right? So what's their plan? I mean, they don't want to keep on pushing him as the Intercontinental Champion. I would think that they're going to elevate him to the main belt, right? Either the...
They could do that, but especially right now in the absence of the Bloodline and Roman Reigns, there is space for Gunther to be that heel champion right now.
I don't know if Gunther's good enough on the mic.
He's no nonsense.
He's no nonsense, but I think The Miz, as you know, is the best Intercontinental Champion of all time. And right now, that might be what the WWE needs, is Miz on the mic with the Intercontinental Championship. And this could be a good opportunity for him to come in and take that over.
I think Gunther has said it a couple of times in the interviews. The Miz and everybody else is a showman right now. He's the one keeping it pure.
I do think that Gunther maintains this. I don't know what they do with Gunther, though. I mean, what's going to be that storyline if you don't push him to the next level? If they do, he needs to lose a strap, right? And then they're going to have to push him against Seth or Roman, but neither of those storylines kind of make sense right now. So, yeah, I think Gunther maintains as well.
Gunther can hold the fort down for now.
Then you got Rhea Ripley and Zoey Starks. This kind of feels like a throwaway match, especially for Survivor Series, right?
It's another squash match, and I'm not as excited for it as Gunther versus The Miz. This just seems a little bit underwhelming.
Kind of feels like the Kofi situation. They're going to send Zoey in there for
just take a couple of hits, couple of bumps, and that's it.
Exactly. So there's no real storyline here. Zoey winning doesn't even make sense in my mind.
Doesn't. Yeah. Doesn't make sense at all.
So I don't even understand this match. So yeah, I would say that this is kind of Rhea all day. A War Games match.
Yep.
Which is Cody Rhodes, main event Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and
Seth
Rollins. Which is kind of odd having the world's champion in the Survivor Series match.
With Roman out, you can't have a champion versus champion. So that is probably one of the big reasons it doesn't feel like a Big Four, because Roman Reigns and the Bloodline are right now not in the event at all.
So what's the reason for Roman not being in? Do you know?
No, I think he's just taking some time off. He just gets to do that.
At the time of the year, I mean, yeah, if you're the tribal chief for this long, I guess you get to call the shots. But versus the Judgment Day, who do you think's going to take that?
Whoa, versus the Judgment Day and JD McDonagh.
And the
he's
card.
still in tryout mode, so he's still not on the team.
Man,
they don't even let him wear the shirt.
No, yeah, you're right.
They let him wear the shirt, but they made sure he bought it. They don't even give him a shirt.
Yeah, they need that merch credit. So I think this goes Seth or Cody pinning JD for the win.
So the C card player eats the loss here?
Right, so like how this is built up, Sami after WrestleMania, he's higher than hell, right? Yep. Seth has the strap. Main event, Jey Uso. I really don't know what they're going to do with him. The only thing I can see is them pushing him against Roman, unless they do Jimmy versus Jey at WrestleMania. By giving them a loss, I think that hurts everybody on the other team. Right? What are you getting out of the Judgment Day at this point is kind of my question.
Right now, they're just a strong stable. And what do you think? Adding McIntyre to the equation, does that make it better or worse? Or
I think that makes it better. JD is the obvious guy doing a job here, I would say. So I think that it goes in, the Judgment Day looks strong, but then JD takes the loss probably to Seth or Cody.
In War Games, is there only one person that takes the loss?
Yeah, War Games is they start one-on-one, and then periodically one person from each team would come in until everybody's in there, and then you have to win by pinfall or submission. This doesn't feel like a Survivor Series match. So
There's no invasion. There's no long feud. It's just everybody getting thrown together against the Judgment Day.
Right, and everybody get throwing together seems a little Survivor Series-esque, but back in the day, Survivor Series was these larger-than-life wrestlers being paired together for a match that wouldn't happen. And even in one of our earlier videos, the light-skinned Slick Rick commented, let's see if there's a surprise personality at Survivor Series. Also, I love War Games, but man, I wish the whole card, or at least majority of the card, was still random-ass 4-person dream teams. And this doesn't seem like that. This just seems like we're throwing Cody Rhodes on the team because he's the face right now. With Roman not being here week to week, Cody Rhodes is kind of carrying the business. You got main event Jey Uso, who they're not really doing with anything.
It's hot, but yeah, he's got nothing going on.
Ever since they split him from the Bloodline, it's kind of just main event Jey Uso. There's no real push in any direction. Then we have Seth Rollins, the world champion, doesn't have a match because typically it's champion versus champion. So they're throwing him in there. That kind of makes sense, right?
Yep.
And then Sami Zayn, who carried the WWE for the earlier half of this year, right? He was pretty much the ticket for WrestleMania. That kind of feels like a Survivor Series team. But the Judgment Day, we're sick of seeing. I don't want to say they're not doing their job. I'm not saying they're not carrying the views right now. But we see that every week. We should see maybe Damian Priest with Drew McIntyre, who's rumored. Throw maybe a Cena in there, or maybe throw a Solo in there, or just these individuals that aren't typically together. That's what we're used to a Survivor Series match being. So, yeah, I would say this is kind of a lackluster Survivor Series match. But women's Survivor Series match seems a little bit more interesting. Who's that?
So there are some rumors on the women's match, but before we get into that, if we add Drew McIntyre doing this whole thing with Mommy and being part of the Judgment Day, which again just makes it more confusing for the team that nobody asked for, that does put the other team short. So the rumor is that to make that team whole, you would have possibly Randy Orton coming back.
Ooh. You know, I saw a lot of rumors of him coming back, but I didn't see him being interjected into this match.
And it would be good, right? After his surgery, you don't want him going all out by himself. So it's a good way for him to just get some good chemistry with a lot of people and kind of just get going, maybe ease into it.
And that's a good way of bringing him in as a face, right? Because typically he's a little bit of this arrogant persona. Everybody loves him, but he kind of has that anti-hero vibe. But if you're bringing him in more as a face, kind of when Roman came back from leukemia, this is a good way to push Randy, and he's one of the front runners to chase the most world championships. So I like that kind of interjection there. Maybe that starts the feud between Cody and
if Randy comes back, that would be great. Third generation superstars. So that could be something to definitely work. So you could potentially have a Cody and Randy, and then after this, you could also spin off the Sami Zayn finally cashes in his world championship match with Seth Rollins, maybe here before the Royal Rumble.
You think Sami's going to get a match?
I think they teased it enough, and I think this team, as hodgepodge as it is, it gives a decent build-up to that, right? Now we won or lost Survivor Series. More than likely, they win Survivor Series, right? So after they win,
I think
now
they win,
Sami
right?
Zayn can come. Yeah, I think they win.
Okay.
Sami Zayn comes out and, okay, now I'm here for my match. Here's what it's due. Show him the video.
Interesting. So what do they do with KO?
I don't think KO is doing anything right now.
Well, I mean, they're doing a lot of live shows, right? And what I'm seeing, they're even joking KO and Sami walking by each other and then hugging, you know what I mean, acting like they don't like each other. But you're thinking they kind of just push KO to the side and push Sami, huh?
And you have a main event program with Seth Rollins and Sami.
I agree. I didn't think about that, but I agree.
Or you could just put McIntyre in there somewhere.
I don't know, man.
What's your issue with that?
My issue with McIntyre, I think he's kind of a one-trick pony. I like McIntyre. I have nothing bad to say. When he won the strap, he absolutely deserved the strap. He won me over. I wasn't huge on him in the beginning of his run, but the build-up I was all in on. I feel terrible for him that he didn't get...
It was an empty-ass stadium.
Yeah, during COVID, and that's when he got the belt. I mean, I don't think he got his flowers, I guess you can say. I don't think there's anything new with McIntyre. He's wearing a wife beater now.
And
You know
he's
what
a
I mean?
heel.
Yeah, I don't think
Still
there's
doesn't
anything
do it
new
for
with
you?
It's just the same old thing. Yes, he's bigger than everybody else. Yes, he works harder than everybody else. But I don't think anybody cares at this point.
Me neither. And I'm upset that he's entered into the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day is already too many people. You can't tell who the leader is. Half the people think it's still Edge when he's in an entire another promotion. So just adding another big superstar, even just tangentially to the Judgment Day, I'm not a fan of right now.
But that's a cool interjection, though. I mean, just having the 5-on-5 kind of the traditional Survivor Series match. So I would like to see that, see Randy come in.
I think so. I think we need something to keep the history going of Survivor Series too.
Obviously, I'm a big Undertaker guy, right? Thank you. And this was his debut with Survivor Series. This was when he was with Ted DiBiase in the $1 Million Team versus Dusty Rhodes and the All-American Team or something like that, the American Dream Team.
Oh, it had to be Dusty Rhodes and there was another Rhodes.
Mm-hmm. The Undertaker got announced, and this was when it was just individuals that you wouldn't typically pair together. So
Sure.
bringing Randy in here is kind of more historically what a Survivor Series match would be. So that's interesting. What other rumors do we have? I saw CM Punk is allegedly finalizing the paperwork with the WWE, or
There's rumors, but I'm so tired of CM Punk. CM Punk is just so much drama, and it's just every time you want to get involved into it, something else comes up with him, and it's just, I like drama, but I like the fake drama. I like the televised drama. I don't want the real drama that impacts things. And every
the
time,
Real Housewives, right?
this guy just always pulls up with something. I am tired of CM Punk, and every time he pulls his shenanigans. It's Chicago.
It is Chicago.
He's been teasing it on his Instagram. He's been teasing it on social media.
And AEW did pull him the night of, right, from their pay-per-view.
Because he was starting too much drama.
So it comes down to that. It's a culture, right? And to some extent, it might be a cult, but you have to just go with the flow, and he kind of goes against the grain.
Oh, he absolutely still puts butts in seats. That's his thing. He brings the crowd. He moves the merchandise.
Do you
and
think
he brings
he does?
people in? I hope not. It's too much. Too much. A little bit too much. It's not going to end well. That's the problem with CM Punk coming in. It's just not going to end well.
Well, what's our goal with CM Punk? If we sign him, we're not going to sign him to be the U.S. champion.
Can't.
We're not going to sign him overthrown Gunther. I don't think that's the sign. So it has to go right for the belt, right?
No, I don't think you can give him the belt.
I don't
CM
either.
Punk goes rogue too much to trust him with the belt.
So then what's the value of signing him?
He's a headliner, main eventer without the belt. So he can go in as many feuds as he wants, but he never gets to the championship program, which I don't think he would like.
I don't either. He's a cancer in the locker room. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to work with him, and you don't know what he's going to do. I mean, I would love to see him show up, but what do you do with him afterwards?
That's my biggest problem, too. I would love for him to show up, and I would love for him to have all of these matches, but I'm not ready for that drama. I don't want that drama. I got my own real-life problems. I watch WWE to be entertained, not to have more problems.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't want CM Punk problems in WWE or AEW or New Japan.
So does he show up or does he not show up?
Oof. I think the over-under, if I were to bet, I think is 40% he shows up. So it's still less than likely that he shows up.
Yeah, I don't think he shows up.
Yeah. And I hope he doesn't show up. Although I would love it, it's not worth it.
I don't think you gain anything from it.
No. And right now, what would he do there? There's nothing that's been kind of slotted in.
They're not doing much with the men, to be honest with you. I mean, it's been the Roman show and it's been like the Seth show. I mean, the Shield has kind of been running the show since WrestleMania. I don't know where they're going with this. Who's really a contender? You have Lashley. I don't think people want to see him
Not right now.
get pushed right there. We've seen Drew. The only real people we think is Cody, maybe main event Jey Uso. Who else?
That's pretty much where you're at right now. So that brings a really good question. So Roman comes back to Royal Rumble. What's the World Championship picture looks like for the next couple of months? And we don't have a clear answer, which I guess is a little bit exciting for Survivor Series. Let us know what you think. Who's next in line to kind of at least have a program or at least get some viewership time for the World Championship.
And it's kind of crazy. We've been talking for this long now, and we haven't mentioned one person.
Who?
L.A. Knight.
L.A. Knight.
Right? We haven't even mentioned him.
He's on fire, but
That's kind of the
you
point.
can't not give him Roman if you're going to give him something.
By merchandise sales, he's the number one selling guy right now. In terms of views, I would say he is the attraction, right? His time is now when they didn't give him the strap, right?
Yeah.
So what are they going to do with him? I think the obvious answer is Logan.
But nothing's been said about Logan or his U.S. champion at Survivor Series at all. And the problem is, if you do give him Seth, that's almost downgrading the championship, saying you couldn't get the bloodline, you couldn't beat the tribal chief, so now you go for one level lower. So it almost doesn't make sense. It would end up hurting them. And I don't think you want to do that to the Raw brand.
I agree. So what do you do with LA Knight? You have to push him to a mid-card. If you say no, you're pretty much saying it's LA Knight Roman WrestleMania. If you don't push him to a mid-card, it's
hot in the main event.
Well, and that's the thing is, how hot can LA Knight stay? I think he came up hot. I think it's been a huge boom. But can he maintain this? I don't think we've seen anybody able to maintain this. Anybody.
And that was my Crown Jewel prediction, that at Crown Jewel is going to be his peak. And it's not going to say that it's going to just absolutely plummet, but I think that was as hot as he was going to get. And right now he's maintaining a little bit, but he's lost some stock. And I don't know what happens here. 2 months is a long time. People it's so much entertainment out there.
We just talked through the entire card, 3 matches, for Survivor Series, and we didn't mention his name one time.
Oh.
So, I mean, that kind of
he's everywhere right now.
He's everywhere right now. So, what do they do with him? And I really would like to know that answer, but I have no idea what that is.
So, again, we think LA Knight's not going to be in the championship picture. I think Sami might have a legit shot at getting the match in the next couple months, either before or during the Royal Rumble.
So, if Sami got a run...
Not even a run, at least the program.
If Sami got the match, I think it would just be to do a job, though, right? Because he's great on the mic. They could run either a fun trilogy there. He's very entertaining, but I don't think that they're going to give him the strap. You think that they would give him the strap?
I think they'll give it to him one more time at least before he sets off for the sunset, but I don't think there's any...
One more time? I don't think he's had it. He's never been the champion.
Sami has never had the championship? No.
Sami has never been the... No way.
This is a crime. No way. Sami Zayn has never had the championship.
I would say no.
You're kidding. So Sami Zayn has never had the...
Who?
Sami Zayn has never had the world championship. That is a crime. And I knew that.
Sami Zayn?
Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn.
All right.
Has never had the world championship. And I knew that, but in my heart, I believe that is such a crime against Sami Zayn that I invented an alternate universe where for some reason he's had it. Holy cow.
He deserves it, though, right?
He absolutely deserves it.
So maybe they do give it to him, and I could see Seth being the guy that he beats. If they give it to Kofi, if they give it to Big E, not to just pinpoint the New Day, Sami Zayn is in that...
He's on that level.
In that level where he's put the time in, you know what I mean? He's identifiable across multiple nations, being Canadian. He just kind of deserves it, in my opinion,
He does
right?
great work. I mean, well, now I want that program. Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. Give him a couple matches. They'll put up really good matches.
And the universe would get behind Sami.
Absolutely.
I like that. If Randy comes back, does that set it up for...
I think you want to ease Randy back into it, right? Lower back spinal fusion surgery.
So does Randy come back and go after Gunther?
Ooh.
I can see that. That would be a good Gunther loss to where he doesn't lose credibility, and then you could push him for the main belt. The new Intercontinental strap looks really nice, man. Randy would look good with that one.
Yeah, that would be a really good run. So I think we talked about the main event and the men's War Games match. So now we do have the women's.
But that hasn't been...
It hasn't been confirmed
announced,
yet.
right?
It hasn't been announced. It could get announced tonight. So tonight is Friday Night SmackDown. So it hasn't happened yet, but it could get solidified tonight. That would be Bayley, Iyo Sky, Asuka, and then Kairi Sane, who just returned, versus Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, and then one more superstar that we don't know who it is. So it'd be a 4-on-4 versus a 5-on-5. But those are all huge names, though.
So do you think that they're going to bring somebody in that's new?
Or returning from somebody. But the thing is, that team was kind of just put together. Belair, Flair, and Shotzi.
But that's historically what a Survivor Series match is, are these individuals that shouldn't be necessarily matched together.
Yeah, there's just someone that's got beef with someone, and now they're just teaming up for this one match. But I don't think they've introduced anything.
But this is probably going to be the start of the fall of Damage CTRL, right?
So I believe they're now getting Kairi Sane and Asuka officially into Damage Control, right?
And Asuka.
Yeah, so I think both of them will eventually end up in Damage Control. So they'll kind of be a cohesive unit maybe for a little bit, and then before it implodes. So
Well,
I think
Dakota Kai can't even wrestle, right? She's out for at least 6 more months with a knee.
Is that how long she's going to be out?
She was been out for almost a year. I remember when Iyo Sky won the championship, they called Dakota Kai like the night before, the day of, and said, please come in. And it was amazing that she was just there to be there for her, right? So she's out of it.
Well, hopefully she has a speedy recovery. Wish her the best.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like she's doing well. I mean, she's now on ringside and all of that. But
Yes.
Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Iyo Sky is kind of a cool little stable, if you will.
And now Bayley's kind of just eating it. But they're also, I think that'll be the group Damage Control.
I think that's too big. I think
That's why it'll have to implode at some point. So I think they could tease that somewhat at Survivor Series. They're struggling to work together or something, and then it kind of spells it out.
This is where Bayley either turns heel or they turn on her.
Something, right?
I think this is where Bayley needs to go face.
So you're talking about one more Bayley face run.
When she was the hugger, I loved that. Then she had to go heel, and my God, she was a heel and a half, bro. She's pretty much been that heel, I ain't taking no shit character since she had that soccer mom haircut, right?
Agreed?
So I think this is where they need to turn her face to kind of get that love back, because I don't think she has that I love you vibe, if you will, that she gave off in the beginning. And I think that that's what she needs to regain a lot of the universe there.
I mean, Damage Control giving her a good ass whooping and a good jumping and a good mugging would definitely jumpstart that.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
That would be good. That would be good, kind of like the implosion. So maybe we could see some of that, and that way we have a program for the women's title coming out of that. If it could possibly be Bayley, because right now there's nobody else on the SmackDown side that's kind of would be next in line for Damage Control. That's really believable, especially when you
Unless they push Belair again.
But Belair just
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to
That's
keep
the only
going.
person I would think that you could. I guess Charlotte, right? If they wanted to.
I don't know if Charlotte's coming back for real or she's going to come back for the Royal Rumble. If she's going to go on a little hiatus and then come back for WrestleMania season.
I would like to see her husband come back.
Andrade,
That's your boy.
he's been looking okay in AEW. I think he's lost just a little bit of his motivation. I think if they could bring him back to WWE and get him back into peak shape, I think he could be really good.
What about Escobar? What's your opinion on him?
Oh, so just going on to the LWO. He hasn't said anything, but I think it's pretty obvious that there's going to be a split in that faction as well. And that's coming soon, possibly for Survivor Series.
Well, he already turned on Ray.
He turned on Ray, but there's been no match announced, right? So you kind of have Carlito really backing Ray up. So it could go either way. It could be Escobar versus Ray, Escobar versus Carlito, or then some other mixture of like a 2-on-2, 3-on-3.
What's your opinion of Carlito being back?
Carlito's good as a backup right now for the LWO. Carlito needs the LWO more than the LWO needs Carlito right now, unfortunately.
So the rumored women's match being potentially the 4th match, that's still only 4 matches on the Survivor Series card. Is there any other rumors that you know of? I thought I heard something about LWO
Yeah,
showing
so
up.
LWO has kind of been having this story with the I guess it's another faction that's kind of falling apart, right? So we have Santos Escobar who turned on Ray, and that's essentially a sin for the LWO. So now Carlito has come back or Carlito has come out and really stood up for Ray. So now we kind of have this way where Escobar could potentially face off against Ray. He could face off Carlito, or Escobar could recruit some LWO members and can have like a split of the factions. So now you have like the new versus the old. And by old, I mean Ray and Carlito, right? Ray and Carlito are kind of holding it down. And then you have all the newer members maybe following after Escobar. So that could be a cool take.
No, that is an interesting take.
Right? You kind of have like the passing of the torch, but the new guys are kind of the jerks.
And this is a good storyline that doesn't require a championship. So that's a very good take that I didn't think of. Okay, I see that. I like that one a lot because at the time, Ray had the USA championship, right?
He was leading the faction. He was leading the team, but then
And then Escobar challenged him for the belt. lost. They had all that mutual respect. They actually gave Ray a good little run where they didn't disrespect him like they used to do in the past, right? Now that there's no belt, that is a very good storyline to push because there's no ulterior motive, right? Other than this is what we're fighting for. So yeah, that's a good take.
So that could potentially be a match.
That's still only 5 matches for a Big Four event. It just doesn't feel like that close to the year, I guess you can say, right? This is the final of the Big Four. I just don't feel
the end of the Big
I don't
Four,
feel like this is
Thanksgiving weekend
marketed the way it used to be. Yeah.
There has been no other rumors. There have been no other teased matches. Everybody that's kind of in these is part of the Judgment Day, part of all of these circles that we've been talking about. But yeah, there definitely has to be more matches for a Big Four. So we still have Friday Night SmackDown tonight, and then we do have next week. So we have both Raw and SmackDown next week. So that's only 3 episodes, so you can't have too much of a build-up. But there is a little bit of runway to kind of add a little bit more. But as of right now, nothing comes to the top of my head. Let us know in the comments and give us a shout if you have any ideas of what's going to be added, because there's going to be at least a couple or more matches added. Let us know what you think is going to happen in Chicago.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your takes and predictions. If you are going to be in Chicago for Survivor Series, let us know. We're going to have a pre-show, and we'd love to see you.
Absolutely, and we'll be doing this all week for Survivor Series, so we are super excited. I'm sure we'll get more information tonight and on Monday, and we'll just keep it going until we get to Survivor Series.
It's a compound, baby.